When I made how to craft limitless content with ease, it was way more than just content. It was about what can I take that is not trend focused, that is proven time and time again that I've used over the last 15 years of being a content creator in any capacity. Like before it was called content creation, before it was called influencer, like when we were talking about it being called like brand ambassadors and volunteers and stuff, when I was walking billboards for my friend's brand, what can I take from all of those experiences, being a photographer, all of those things, and give to people from my time as a mindset coach? I mean, like everything. So I talk about the first chapter, we go over how to build your brand's foundation. And I'm talking everything from like branding elements you should know about your brand to, what are content pillars versus content purposes. I'm talking, your client demographic, like who are you actually trying to speak to and focus on? I go over all of that. And then I talk about in chapter 2, the content creation framework that I personally came up with and have crafted over the years and kept working until I released it as the CPCT method. And I talk about the hub and spoke model, which you can Google online. Yeah, I tell you how to use it and how to look at it so it makes sense for you, and break it down so it's not so much jargon, which is just industry language. And then we go over 5 things you need to remember, which are straight mindset shifts to help you stay consistent. Then, because I'm all about giving y'all the behind the scenes, the BTS, we go over how I create my content, what keeps me sane and keeps me focused on my self-care. Because remember, I've written Wellness That Works, and I released that book before I ever released this one because I was very adamant about, I'm not telling you to create content and sacrifice your wellness. I'm not telling you to create content to the point that you're burnt out. Sometimes we have to make a pivot. We have to embrace change. I'm not saying that you're always going to enjoy it, but 80% of the time you want to enjoy it. Like if you can bump that up from 80 to 90% with this book, that's beautiful. If you can get to the point where it's the majority instead of the minority, that's even better. So the last thing I go over is after you post, and that is talking about forget these numbers and the way that you've always seen them. Oh, these likes, oh, these comments, oh, this like, if you haven't seen it, they've been talking about on a very popular app that follows don't really matter. It's about your engagement. And I take it a step further and I say, that's great, but do you even understand the type of engagement you should be looking for and how you should be looking at how people are interacting and how you interact with that community and build that community? I give the example all the time, and it's a popular case study. I do not remember how many followers she had. Popular creator, had like thousands and thousands of followers, goes to sell a t-shirt or some kind of apparel and gets no sales. I'm talking thousands and thousands of people saw her content, no sales whatsoever. What does that tell you about follower count? It does not matter. If you are posting authentically, if you are like really focused on, okay, this is the mission, this is the community I'm talking to, this is how I'm serving them, and it's not all about you, because yes, it's your content, it's your platform to share. At the end of the day, most of us are trying to make an impact in some way. We are trying to do things that are much bigger than us. We're trying to make the world a better place, more inclusive, however that looks. We want, as much as we want to make it a safe space for everyone, we also realize we cannot deem anything safe for another person. So I also talk about how to make your content accessible, because that's something that we need to consider. Emojis are actually not super accessibility friendly when it comes to text to speech and things like that. We need to be mindful. Hashtags, putting all lowercase, not helpful. It needs to be capital. Each word needs to be capitalized. Yeah, but you didn't know that. That's just a freebie. I am so excited for the people who want to pour in this book. Now, it is more than my Wellness That Works book because I wanted that one to be more accessible. And that is because I am teaching you things, again, that I've learned over the last 15 plus years, that I have like put into practice, that I have used on multiple clients, like talk to multiple people, like hundreds of mentees, like things that I talk about all of the time that like you would have to pay X amount of money, that because usually I'm doing it for a client and like helping teach their, clientele. I was like, no, we need to make this more accessible. And depending on how you support me through my Ko-Fi page and all that stuff, like you can get access. There's just like levels to this. And the biggest thing that is stopping most people from creating limitless content, like where it's like it just feels like a breeze when you create it, is mindset, is yourself, is this blockage you have that it has to look a certain way, in a specific way. When you have a vision, that's different. It is all of the other hangups, all the other blockages we put on it, and all the other limits we put on ourselves. And that is what I'm trying to do. This is why this book is timeless. This is why I don't focus on trends. I'm like, a trend was that in this book. I know what they are, obviously, and I know how to use them and to make them work for me and what I'm trying to do. There are ways to utilize trends to your advantage and have it work for you, because again, social media is a tool. Content creation is a tool to get your message out there, just like money is a tool. We could really go on, and I'm gonna end this at 555 because angel numbers, and you need it.